So ever since I started YouTube, I always get the same questions. Juan, how are you so athletic? Juan, how are you so tall? Juan, how are you so handsome? But the truth is, I get one question more than any other thing. What recipes do you use? Hey, what are the simulations? I always get asked about simulations and what I use for all my photos. So today I'm gonna give you the top 3 that I use in almost every single photo shoot I do. But before we get into that, I just wanna tell you thank you so much for 2,700 subscribers. It means the world to me. Make sure to drop a comment down below and subscribe. See ya. Alright guys, welcome back to Once Upon a Time. I'm here with Kurt. What is up guys? Welcome back to Once Upon a Time. Today I'm here with Curtis and Mattie and we're going to be doing a 2-model shoot. I'm going to be talking about the simulations that I use for all my photos and I'm going to have them introduce themselves and tell me a little bit about their experience with modeling.
I've been in New York for about 2 years now, kind of switched around agencies, definitely like trying to figure out, you know, whatever feels right. I've done a couple cool jobs here and there, some e-com, some fit modeling. I'm gearing up for New York Fashion Week right now, so let's go.
I'm so excited to be back shooting with you. This last fashion week, I did my first fashion week in New York Fashion Week, and I'm excited. Hopefully another season coming up in February. And yeah, just trying to stay warm out here.
We're going very like 90s Calvin Klein, I think, in my mind, is what I'm going for.
There you have it, 90s Calvin Klein. CK all the way.
CK all the way.
All right, so we're gonna start out with the one that I use the most. It's called 64 Kodak or Kodak 64. It's a really cool one and we're gonna take photos in front of this white thing here to show you exactly how it looks straight out of camera. One of the most nostalgic and underrated film simulations on the Fujifilm cameras. If you're into that vintage kind of film vibe, which I definitely am, but want to keep things like looking sharp and kind of modern, this is the one that I use all the time. So first off, the simulation's all about the warm, punchy color palette, which is pretty much what I try to go for these days. Think of it as the perfect mix between the classic Kodak film and just enough modern tech to make it pop on your digital camera. The reds, greens, and yellows have this really rich and earthy tone that gives your photos a little extra warm. It's not over the top saturation, but it's definitely got that saturation vibe that's perfect for like portraiture, lifestyle, and even street photography if you want to. What's cool about this one is that the grain is really fine. It's not like those old school films that give you a harsh, noisy texture. This one has like a nice, subtle film grain. It gives the shot like an organic and tactile feel while not going overboard and making it seem like it's completely film. Now, if you've noticed, I've been using the same settings for all my photos. Basically, I try to keep the same ISO, shutter speed, and f-stop just because it kind of keeps a consistency throughout the whole set. Now, I usually shoot my photos a lot darker because I brighten them up when I'm editing, so just keep that in mind when you see the photos. And the colors are pretty much the one thing that really make this my favorite simulation of all of them. They really pop, but in a really natural way. So the shadows are kind of soft and not too heavy, and the highlights roll off really smoothly. There's no crazy contrast that messes with the details in the dark or bright areas, which is awesome when you're shooting with tricky lighting, which is mostly what I shoot with because I do a lot of natural lighting. This simulation really shines because it has that perfect warm glow without looking too forced. It's almost like it was made for these specific kind of nostalgic shots. Now, when should you use it? I'd say this one is actually perfect for anything in the shade because, like I said, those saturation and the contrast really makes the photos pop. Outdoors is also really nice. I've used this for a lot of my outdoor shoots. However, natural lighting is where you really want to use this. It's also really cool for travel photography and such, but if you really want something that's like your go-to every single day, this one's the one that I would pick. All right, so my second favorite one to use is called Porta 400. Here are the settings for it. And it looks a little bit like this. This is all about the natural film-like look. Pretty much what you see in all those Tumblr old school posts. It has these soft tones and beautiful skin tones. It's perfect for portraits or any kind of shoots where you want a flattering but realistic colors, especially in outdoor settings. I tried using it in this shoot indoors and it doesn't look as nice. Here are some of those photos. And it has a little bit of that authentic film grain that makes it look really analog. It has pretty much a perfect skin tone reproduction, making it a go-to for lifestyle shoots, family portraits, or even street photography. It's super subtle, nothing too harsh, just beautifully balanced tones. If you want your photos to have a timeless, classic feel without too much pop, Porta 400 is the way to go. Here's some photos for it. Alright, my third one most used is called Nostalgic Negative. Now this one, you'll see what it does. Here are the settings for it. This is the last but not least. This is probably my second most used film simulation of all time, pretty much, the Nostalgic Negative. This is the one that when I first got the camera was the first one installed in it, and I use it to this day, just not in this specific photo shoot. So the thing about Nostalgic Negative is that it has this perfect film simulation for that vintage and faded look. It's definitely a big fade thing. It has a little bit of warmth and character, and it gives your photos a soft retro vibe. It's like an old school color negative with a muted smooth color palette, and it has this little like washout feel. Tones are rich, not too vibrant, so it's great for moodier shots or anything you want to do with a little touch of nostalgia. The shadows aren't too harsh and the highlights have a bit of warmth, giving your images that timeless kind of analog look, but without being overly saturated. It's great for pretty much everything I've said before. Street photography, portraiture, and even landscapes, I would say. When you want to add that little vintage aesthetic, this is the one you should go for. And like I said before, here are some examples of it used in that scenario. All right, guys, thank you so much for watching. Shout out to Curtis and Mattie for helping me out. Here's their Instagrams if you want to follow them. Make sure to like this video, subscribe, follow, and next time I see you, I will be battling a pit bull with my hands tied behind my back. See ya.